Okay, so that's a great, fairly recent transaction. I think I did that in, development deals take a long time. That's why, specific to this fund, we're not focused on development deals. We're focused on acquiring existing cash flow from assets that have been owned for many years, so that there shouldn't be these wild variables in what happened. And just an example of the deal that you're talking about was, through a relationship, not through a deck that was widely marketed. Somebody called me, and there was a blighted retail outlet mall in the suburbs of Chicago, but it sat right on a full four-way interchange with interstate visibility. And it was a 72-acre project that was a 400,000 square foot outlet mall. And everybody knows that the internet has certainly changed how people buy their retail goods. So, there's a different, unfortunate outcome as it relates to this property, but I was there and I was approached to be the buyer. And believe it or not, I was able to meet with the mayor, share what my philosophy was on what the repurpose of the real estate should be. And because of its proximity to the interstate and the full four-way interchange, I thought it would be best utilized to be knocked down and built as an industrial building. So, I put the property under contract, but the seller, who was the largest owner of retail real estate, Simon Properties, said, look, if you're serious, I need you to close within 30 days. And that closing, when you sign that contract, needs to be subject to nothing. And they truly meant that. So it was kind of like, put up or shut up. And are you real or are you not? So you can imagine, here we had a 400,000 square foot retail outlet. It had hundreds of code violations with the city. And, if you have code violations, it's not just as simple as, selling one property from an owner to a buyer. They're right there in the middle and make sure it will not happen unless those code violations. So there was, a relationship there that I had with the mayor, who had already respected me being an active investor and developer in the area. And I had to assure him that whatever we were going to do there was not only going to be fixing these violations, but enhancing not only the property, but the community, right? He's looking for jobs. And we closed that transaction in 20 days, subject to nothing, all cash. And my philosophy was we were going to knock it down, and we were going to build a 700,000 to 1 million square foot spec industrial building with no tenants in mind. What's that movie? If you build it, they will come. Field of Dreams. Yeah, so this was my field of dreams, an industrial building. So anyways, the RV dealer said, oh, you own the land next door. Well, we actually need some additional land for expansion. So I said, all right, I'll make you a deal. I'll sell you some land as long as you sell me an RV. And so what was amazing about the real estate transaction is I sold them 8 acres of my 72 acres for the entire amount of the 72 acres. So now my basis was zero. So I went through the whole design phase, built a 700,000 square foot industrial with another lot that we can build something else. And while I was going through my whole design, development, and construction, Amazon bought the land to the north of me and built 1.3 million square feet. So now we've built the building, we've leased it to a long-term international tenant. And so now we're just getting ready to put it on the market as an institutional investment sale, which, we will probably end up selling, this transaction in the, $90 million range.